Hello, everybody. We are giving CarX Drift Racing Online 2 a shot on stream today. Made a video or two about it, just kind of trying it out for the first time the other day, and we struggled. So we were trying to get our hands on the S18 frame, took a couple of days, but we finally got it, and now we've been horsing around with the tune to get it to where it feels comfortable for me to drive. And so far, it has been bad. There's been nothing good about this. So today the goal is we are going to try to get it manageable. I want to be able to feel the weight shift of the car. Right now it feels like everything's on ice, and it feels like any throttle input is just sending the car into a ridiculous spin. So the caveat is that I don't really know what the fuck I'm doing. Not gonna claim I do. I have a very, very elementary understanding of some of this stuff as far as like what each setting actually controls and how the car is going to change in response. So it's going to be slow. It's going to be a lot of guessing and checking, and it's going to be a shit show. So if you're going to stick around, that's on you, and I appreciate you. All right, let's just end it. YouTube, please like and subscribe. Hey, thanks. Let's see. Let's just feel how she is right now, how we left it off at. Alright. Let's see how it goes. What was that? That was very bizarre. I'm not on the throttle at all. Like an anti-lag thing? What the fuck? What is that? Okay, so it doesn't do that when we're off the clutch. This is the first time I've seen that. So I'm clutch in and it's slowly revving down. It's gotta be something. I'm confused. Okay. Something I'm really used to in a Assetto is left foot braking while drifting to kind of pull the front end in a little bit. Not sure how to set that up better yet in CarX, because right now it doesn't seem to do anything like I'm expecting it to do. Okay. Alright, so immediately the front end feels both numb, completely numb, and extremely oversteered. God. It's very weird. The front end comes around hot, but it just doesn't feel like, I don't know. I don't feel the weight of the car. One more seat tick back. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Yikes. get a good feel for it before we head back into the tuning menu. Third gear actually feels really good. Too much juice going into that one. I'm like scared to put too much throttle in. Something that feels really different, and maybe again it might just be tuning related and like the way my gear ratio is. But CarX so far has seemed like throttle input is really sensitive. Like anything more than 30 or 40%, and the cars want to just spin away from you. Swap. I want to go this direction. Maybe we should be taking all these in third gear. I don't know how to narrow down what doesn't feel good. So many things don't feel good. The responsiveness feels random. I'm used to shifting the weight, how I'm used to moving the wheel to shift the weight, just doesn't. Like, I feel like I have to give so much steering and the car doesn't respond. All right, let's take a look. Let's see. Again, we're no pro, so this is gonna hurt. It's gonna be a long process. What I do wish the game had was an easier tuning menu from like within the practicing area. It'd be really great to be able to kind of tweak stuff in real time. So the front end is coming around like crazy. But, like, just the regular steering input kind of is ass. I don't really know how to deal with that. I can't really feel the weight of the car shifting. I feel like the stiffness is already turned way down. So you know what? Let's just adjust one thing at a time. Feels very high. See, this is telling me, I feel like this is a very soft setting. That back out to 0. Okay, let's try this. Let's see. We don't want to change too many things at once. So we softened up the rear spring. Adjusted the ride height a little bit. See if we can feel it any different. Feels super squishy in the back, and it's weird, I still can't feel the front end of it. Some air going in here. There we go. Feel really bouncy in the back. It's like insanely bouncy in the back now. But I feel like I have a little more control over it. Wonder if the front is just too stiff still, maybe? I wonder if the front is still a little bit too stiff. What if we tighten up the back just a touch? Just a little bit. And then take the front down. Just a smidge. Let's try that. We want to not adjust too many variables at once here. Okay. Predictable. Try to follow the white line. Maybe if we tighten up the rear sway bar, that might make the ass end feel a little bit less squishy, spongy. Do just a touch. See what that feels any different. I'm no pro on like a setup, but there's a couple car packs I really like, and the BDC car pack is one of them, and I know that's, or at least I'm pretty sure that's considered to be a really numb, kind of feels like you're on ice, feeling, the way it controls, but I like that compared to this feels like I barely have to touch anything. Everything is super snappy, it's really light. Every little physical input gives a massive control output. Like, I feel like I'm being so gentle on the steering wheel and the throttle, and this car is just all over it. Feel horrible, but it's not predictable. Okay, it's a start. Let's go back to Adams and see what that's like. It seems like some of the changes we made.
Добро пожаловать.
Seems like the car's behaving more like what my brain wants it to do. Oh, what do we got here? Sippy. Ah, that's high quality H2O. Okay. super twitchy. Something just doesn't feel how I want it to. You've got to be able to pinpoint that. It's like a constant stage of power sliding and then trying to catch it instead of drifting. Maybe that's a good way to describe it. Tire pressure on the ass end is too low. Let's see. Let's try that. See if there's a noticeable difference with a couple pounds more. Pull out to the left this time. Angle on that, I guess. Still very slippery. See here. I think I'm falling into the trap of adjusting too many things at once instead of trying to pinpoint exactly what's fucking me up. But I do notice that my left foot braking, I don't even use it in this game because it feels like when I do, all it does is cause problems. So I think I want to adjust that really quick. And I don't know if that's putting more of a bias to the front. I want the front end to be a little bit more whippy, maybe. When I touch the brake, I want to just be able to barely touch the brake and have it kind of help pull the front end in.
Добро пожаловать.
Let's try that. sucks not being able to explain or even understand exactly what the problem is here. Let's turn on our, let's see. Alright, so maybe let's read some of this stuff. Bump speed of suspension when transferring weight during turns. Bump speed of the suspension when transferring weight during turns. The higher the value, the more stable the car is. But values that are too high can slow down the function of the suspension too much. 5,800. I wonder if this will help me feel the front end when I'm turning, like transitioning more. Let's just, I know this is going to be bad. I want to feel what that does. And then we're going to turn it the other way. Alright, let's take it to the opposite extreme now and feel what that does. A ridiculous amount. If this is like a placebo effect from turning the dials super duper hard, but that felt stiffer. Like, duh. It felt numb. So that was super bouncy. That was super crazy numb. I think we were around 6,000-ish when we started. Let's try an arbitrary 8,500. Let's see how that feels. And then we'll play with the back. Giggity. Okay, let's see. Motions here to get the car to turn in how much I want it to. or at least in a, I don't know, in a range. It's still really numb. But I think it feels a little better. It's still needs love. Okay, alright, I like that. Now maybe the back end feels really, really sloppy. I'm not sure. So that was damper, that was the bump. Okay, let's see. Braking or when accelerating. The higher the value, the more stable the car is, but values that are too high can slow down the functioning of the suspension too much. Let's give it a little bit more. So we were what, like 32-ish? Let's try 4. Try and increase that and see if that makes the ass end feel any less sloppy. I expect that to be able to kick my nose or my ass out, push the nose in. Still feels pretty bouncy. Okay, so it still feels pretty bouncy. Let us see, let us see. Alright, so rebound. The rebound speed of the suspension when transferring weight during turns and braking. Higher value allows you to maintain the weight on the loaded suspension for longer, so it won't push me back up. Okay, but values are too high, I could slow down the function. Okay, so we were like 9,500. Let's turn this very high in the front. I want to see if I can feel that. I would expect this to make the car feel even more bouncy. I think that was just me. Okay, so I think I like the way that feels. I think We overdid it, obviously. We just dragged the slider super duper far, but I think now if we kind of try to dial that back, so we were at, I think 95, and now we're at 15. Let's try somewhere, I don't want to be super drastic. Let's try, I don't know, like 11.5. Let's see if that doesn't feel as silly. Okay. Okay. Well, it immediately doesn't feel as silly. It's getting nicer, but when we're not sliding, it feels really weird. Yeah, this is better. This is better. This feels better. Okay, all right. I feel like we're making a little bit of progress. Little tiny bits. Okay, fast bump. Let's see. So we already did... Oh, actually, wait, hold on here. We didn't control the rebound on the ass end. The bump speed of the suspension when transferring weight during turns. The higher the value, the more stable the car is. But values that are too high... Okay, so same difference. Let's overcorrect and see how it changes, and then we'll dial it back. So 4,200, let's be ridiculous and triple it. Go up to 12. Good enough. And obviously this is gonna feel ridiculous, but let's see if we could really tell what the car is doing when changing that, and then we could back off of it and go from there. We should keep the suspension loaded. Is what it sounded like to me. Which I would assume means that when I'm in a turn, it's going to have less of a tendency to want to, like, push me back straight. That's what I would think, because it's not going to want to shove the weight of my car up and upset me from the rear end. Okay, so I feel like I can tell that we're more planted. It feels really soft in the back, which I think we just made it harder, so I'm probably not describing it. Yeah, I feel like I'm cocked towards the back in whatever direction I'm turning away from. Okay. Okay, so we're clearly driving worse than we were before that last change. Okay, alright. So I think I can feel the difference there. Let's not be ridiculous now. So we were at like 40 whatever. Let's try and take that. Instead of tripling it now, we were probably about here-ish. Let's see... Let's add like half the value to it. Let's see what that feels like. Give that a run. Slow and meticulous, boys. I don't know how else someone would do this. If you don't know what all the values are really doing, other than trying to find a guide and just copying someone else. This kind of seems like the only option to figure it out, right? more controllable. I'm feeling it like it's wanting to push me out more. It's wanting to push me out of the slide. It's wanting to like level me back out. So much as like bump dampening related though. That might be more suspension geometry related. Well, we've definitely accomplished that the front end no longer feels like it's on ice, so that's good. I'm not 100% on the rear still. I think it's okay. I think we're okay to move forward on that. So now let's look at the fast stuff. So fast bump and fast rebound. Speed of suspension during sharp maneuvers when hitting road bumps. High values reduce pitching and rolling in sharp transitions, but they can make the car lose traction on the road sooner. The bump speed of the suspension during sharp maneuvers. So we're at 3,000 here. Okay, so I said the front end doesn't feel like we're on ice anymore. That should make the front end feel like we're on ice if I'm interpreting that correctly. Find out. Okay, so far, no difference. I could barely tell. That, dragging it all the way over seemed to make, like, my driving looks way worse now. But it doesn't feel super fucked up. Interesting. Okay, so clearly it's making the car respond less? Didn't that say the opposite? High values reduce pitching and rolling. Okay, so it reduces the amount it does that. So then it should respond less, making the car lose traction on the road sooner. I didn't really notice that part, but it did feel like it was responding less to me. Okay, so I think we were at like 9,000. I should be writing this down. We are fucking up, but let's bring that up a little bit. Let's try 10.5-ish or whatever. Let's do there. Let's see if that is any different. So what we're looking for is for the car to feel a little bit more responsive than it just did. Okay, alright. So it's doing what I'm expecting it to do. Okay. Let's try a e-brake. That was my fault. Try it again. Okay, I can feel the weight of the car still being thrown. That's good. Okay, I believe this lap was just on me being shit. That's an improvement. Seemingly. Okay. Quick breather, quick breather. Oh, we're looking here. Okay. Tuning back. Okay. So now the same thing, fast bump for the rear. Make the car lose traction on the road sooner. I don't... So 1700. Let's... I want to feel how ridiculous that is. That is very weird. It holds my throttle up for me. See how she feels. Okay, so the back end I think feels a lot whippier. It's cool that the front end doesn't feel, obviously we didn't change it, but it doesn't feel like it's affected too much by the last change. The back end feels really sloppy. I don't think that's a good thing. No, I don't feel like that's a good thing. Okay, so now let's back it off. We were really low on that input before, like I think 17. Now we're at 20,000. Let's see here. So we were at 17. Let's triple-ish. Let's try like 62. Let's call it 6,000. Okay. Let's see if that feels noticeably different. First impression of this tune right now feels better. That feels pretty smooth. Trying it with some brake. Let's see what that feels okay, it's feeling a lot more predictable. I think that's the best way to describe it. So I think that was mostly just the dampening that we were playing with here, right? I don't think we've done... I don't remember if we fucked with the sway bar a little bit at the beginning of this. That's okay. I think we'll keep this to just damper settings for right now. And we'll probably pick this up in the next video and do some suspension tuning. I think that'll be a good idea to do there, because there's a lot to do here. So let's pick it back up in the next one. See you later.